not as crazy as Ukraine, though.
Oh, I know. I think it's interesting because it seems very back and forth just from the little bit I've read in not only the news but the newspaper. There's a lot of back and forth because I saw that a Russian general was killed. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a dub. That's a dub for Ukraine. But then I just saw recently, I think it was within the last couple of days. Now they're saying that there's a like a possible genocide going on, and like over 100 Ukraine
40,
people were, what was it?
140 people, civilians.
140, yeah, and they were literally being like killed and or tortured and killed by Russian troops. So that's interesting too. But I just assumed when like the whole Russia Ukraine war started, I really thought Ukraine was just gonna get like screwed in like a week, if that makes sense. Because you know what I mean,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just Russia's bigger, right? Like they're just a bigger power, but like they've been holding their own. Like they've been getting it, which I think is awesome. I mean, defend your country, you know what I mean? I think it's amazing to see, but it's like super sad if that is true that there's like a straight up genocide going on now.
Well, the thing is that we don't even care about genocides anymore. Like obviously
Oh,
they're
well, that
bad,
too. Yeah.
but realistically, like what happened in China with
Yep.
the I forgot what they're called. They're currently they're getting the women and removing their ovaries.
Oh, geez, that might not be what I'm thinking of. I think so. We have a huge population of Hmong people here. I believe they're from the hills of China in North Vietnam. They actually helped the American troops as rebels during the Vietnam War, and so
Yeah.
a lot of them live here. Almost all of them live in the Midwest now. So we have a very high population here in the cities. So it might not be that. I don't think really any Hmong people live in China anymore, if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
I think they're called. I have it here. The Uyghurs or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they live like right there in the mountains of China. Um, okay, so there's evidence that they're being used as forced labor, and women are being forcefully sterilized. Some
Wow.
former camp detainees have also alleged that they were tortured and sexually abused. Yeah, so they're just getting these people and putting them in torture camps, man, removing their ovaries and just
Oh,
raping the shit out of them. Yeah.
that's
And
great.
what's crazy is that Trump brought it up before he
Yep.
was coming out of office. And then everyone said that was dumb. And then Biden, do you remember what Biden said about it? Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
He
He
so
said a
one of
lot
the
of
one of
dumb
the
shit. So,
dude, one of the guys during this press conference asked him about it, specifically talking about the genocide going on in China, and then brought up the ovaries being removed, which is where I heard it first.
mhm.
And then Biden, he said something like, you know what? We don't really understand their culture and how they do things over there. So so like it's totally fine. That's just how they live their life. Genocide's cool over there. That's the
Dude,
thing.
it's crazy. And I think it's funny that you bring that up. There's such a double standard with what the media wants you to see and what they don't want you to see. Like, I think
Like
it's
with
really
Ukraine.
funny. What's that?
Oh, I was just saying like Ukraine.
Oh, totally. Well, and it's really interesting. So there's literally like there's reporters on the ground in Ukraine, and you know that we're probably only getting like 10 to 20% of like what's being filmed. Never, as we know, everything has an agenda. We learned it in the last election, the last two elections, really. There's an agenda that someone's trying to push out.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just interesting to see all the things that they're like pushing. Like now in Florida, there's the don't say gay bill. Doesn't say
Yeah.
once in the documents. Doesn't say don't say gay. Just says no. Your small child from what kindergarten through third grade or fourth grade doesn't need to know what your sexual orientation is. There's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't even
Yeah.
bring it, even if you're straight. You don't need to be like, oh man, it's like some old, just butch ass like kindergarten teacher, and you're just like, man, I was banging my chick last night. Oh man,
Dude,
man, am I sore? So kids, next time, next on
Yeah,
the agenda is learning times tables. Like, bro, what? It's just crazy, man. It's
yeah.
and it's funny because you have people like DeSantis, and he's like, listen, that's not what we're talking about. We just don't need our kids being over sexualized at a young age. And then the media twists it all up, and then it's like, oh, don't say gay, Bill. You can't be gay and teach anymore. And it's like, where did this come from? And that's the stuff that's being pushed out. So then you have, and I don't know if you see it maybe with your parents, but I see it with my parents all the time. My mom's very like, I just get my, and I think it's a generational thing too. They're like, I very much just get my news from the news, from like a CNN or a Fox News or MSNBC. You know what I mean? They just watch TV and that's where they get it from. So then I have like my mom who has like no idea what's really going on. And she's just like, oh, well, CNN said. And it's like, what?
See the news during the time of the protests, it's like a lot of people woke up that morning and didn't know that was the last time they were going to see one of their family members, or they didn't know someone was going to rip them out of their truck
Yep.
and put the whooping on them,
Yeah,
like
dude.
I'm not gonna wait until someone already has their foot on top of one of my kids' heads and be like, okay, now I should do something.
Right.
Like, no, yeah. And then she was telling me, like, no, the news, like, that's not what's even on the news. It's not being put anywhere. And it's like, what news are you watching?
Yep.
Like, oh my God. But yeah, I get what you
Interesting,
mean.
man.
It's definitely a generational thing. But I
Yeah.
think that's just because you go back and all we really had was, the rabbit ear TV, not much cable.
Yep.
And so that's just what they got used to.
No, I agree. I think there was a time where that's all you could rely on. There was like, you had your local news and then you had your newspaper. I was like, dude.